I speak to you today not just as the president of Burkina Faso, but as the voice of a sovereign people who have chosen dignity, freedom, and peace over subjugation and fear. It has come to our attention that the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, has issued a statement that can only be interpreted as a declaration of war, a statement that reeks of arrogance, colonial ambition, and complete disregard for the sovereignty of African nations. Let me be clear, we reject this declaration outright, without hesitation, without negotiation, and without fear. Burkina Faso is not a playground for foreign empires. We are not a land to be bullied, divided, or dominated. The days of imperial control over our destinies are long gone. We have risen, and we will stand tall against any external aggression, whether it comes in the form of military threats, economic sanctions, or covert operations. To Mr. Trump, I say this: your threats do not move us. Your rhetoric, built on the illusion of power and supremacy, carries no weight here. We are not afraid of those who wield weapons without justice, who shout loudly to mask their own insecurity, or who seek to sow chaos to maintain control. Our people are united. Our land is defended, and our cause is just. We fight not for dominance, but for independence. We seek not to threaten, but to be left alone to build our future with dignity, on our terms. If you think you can scare us into submission, you have deeply misunderstood the spirit of our revolution. We are not alone. Africa is awakening. And no empire, no matter how loud or how rich, will silence that awakening. The world is watching, and we will not be the ones to kneel. Sovereignty is non-negotiable. We, the people of Burkina Faso, will never accept foreign declarations that violate our sovereignty. Any statement that aims to undermine our independence, especially one as reckless as a declaration of war, is rejected outright. It must be said with calm resolve and unshakable conviction that the era of submission is over. The hands that once dictated our fate from foreign capitals will find no grip on our soil. We are not subjects in a global game of power. We are not pawns to be moved, threatened, or sacrificed. We are a free people, and we will remain free, not because it is permitted by others, but because we have chosen it for ourselves. Sovereignty is not something we debate. It is not something we bargain for at negotiating tables built by those who do not have our interests at heart. It is our right, inalienable, indivisible, and permanent. Those who believe they can impose their will on our nation with threats, declarations, or the arrogance of military force are living in the past. A past where African nations were seen as territories to be exploited, where our resources were plundered under the pretense of partnership, and where our leaders were pressured to kneel in exchange for survival. That chapter has ended. We have turned the page. Burkina Faso is not a playground for imperial adventurism. Let this be heard clearly. Our land, our people, our destiny, these are not open to negotiation or invasion. To threaten us with war is not only a violation of international norms, it is a blatant act of desperation. It reflects a fear not of our weapons, but of our awakening. Because a sovereign Burkina Faso, one that is self-determined, free from foreign control, and united with its neighbors in purpose and strength, terrifies those who have long relied on our division. When we say that sovereignty is non-negotiable, we are not just defending our borders, we are defending the spirit of liberation that lives in every African heart. We are defending the sacrifices of our ancestors, the blood they shed, the resistance they led. We are standing on the foundation built by our forebears, who dared to believe that Africa could rise without asking permission. The time has come to say what many have thought for years: we will not be lectured on democracy by those who have used it as a tool of domination. We will not be told what freedom means by those who have used their own military power to destroy it in other lands. We have seen the cost of these so-called interventions. We have witnessed the chaos left behind, and we refuse to be the next headline in a story written by others. Burkina Faso's sovereignty is not symbolic, it is practical. It is expressed in how we govern, how we educate, how we feed our people, and how we defend our territory. It is not just about flags and anthems. It is about control over our resources, our policies, and our future. When we take decisions that reflect the will of our people and not the interests of foreign corporations or distant governments, we are exercising real sovereignty. And when those decisions are met with threats of war, we see those threats for what they are, an attempt to reverse the progress we have made by standing on our own feet. Let me make it clear, Burkina Faso does not seek war with any nation. We are not aggressors. We are not invaders. We are builders, teachers, farmers, and defenders of our homes. We want peace. Peace that is based on mutual respect, not fear. Peace that recognizes the equal worth of every nation, no matter its size or wealth. But if we are pushed, if our sovereignty is challenged with violence, we will not hesitate to defend ourselves with everything we have. And we will not stand alone. There is a movement across this continent, A movement of unity, of cooperation, of shared resistance. When one nation is threatened, all are reminded of the chains that once bound us, and all are reminded that those chains will never be allowed to return. We are not isolated. We are not alone. The struggle of Burkina Faso is linked to the struggle of every African nation that dares to claim its future. To those who think a declaration of war will make us retreat, you have misjudged the soul of our people. We do not kneel before might. We do not surrender to fear. We rise, we organize, and we resist. Our response to aggression will never be submission. It will be unity, determination, and the unbreakable will of a people who know what it means to fight for freedom. So I say again, for the world to hear and history to remember, our sovereignty is not up for discussion. It is not a line to be erased by threats or intimidation. It is the core of who we are as a nation. We will defend it not only with weapons, but with words, with solidarity, with truth, and with unwavering courage. We are not afraid. We are ready. And we are firm in our belief that no force on earth can crush a people who have decided to stand. Burkina Faso will not be intimidated. Donald Trump's threats do not frighten us. We have faced decades of struggle, and we have emerged stronger. No foreign leader, past or present, can intimidate a people who have chosen dignity and self-determination. We know what it means to stand alone, to fight with our backs against the wall, to rebuild after destruction, to bury our dead and still walk forward with our heads high. That is the spirit of the Burkinabe people. That is the fire that burns in the heart of every man and woman who walks this land. We do not run from threats, we confront them. We do not bend under pressure. We resist it, because we have learned from experience that the only way to survive as a people is to stand on principle, to speak the truth even when it is dangerous, and to never give in to fear. Those who think we can be intimidated by loud words and declarations from across the ocean do not understand our history. They do not know what it means to be born under foreign domination and to rise above it. They do not understand what it means to see your country plundered, your resources stolen, your leaders overthrown, and yet still find the strength to reclaim your voice and your dignity. That is who we are. We are not a people to be moved by threats. We are a people who move forward in spite of them. This threat is not just against Burkina Faso, it is against the very idea that an African nation can choose its own path. It is a challenge to our right to say no, no to exploitation, no to interference, no to the idea that our lives, our choices, and our future must be approved by others before they are valid. We will not be bullied into submission by anyone, regardless of how powerful they may appear. No one has the right to dictate our future except the people of Burkina Faso. And we have already chosen. We choose freedom, we choose sovereignty, and we choose peace on our terms, not as a favor, but as a right. To be threatened by a man like Trump, who has built his legacy on division, arrogance, and fear, is not a concern for us. His words are loud, but they are empty. He speaks of war, but he does not know the cost. He threatens conflict, but it is clear he has no understanding of the strength and resolve that lives within this continent. His threats are not rooted in strategy, they are born from frustration. Frustration that Africa is waking up. Frustration that Burkina Faso is no longer under foreign control. Frustration that we no longer answer to outside interests. That frustration may lead to threats, but it will never lead to our surrender. We are not in the era where a powerful country can simply declare war and expect obedience. The world has changed, and so has Africa. We are not the same people that were once ruled by colonial decree. We have studied our past. We have learned from betrayal. We have risen from manipulation. Today, we understand the games that are played, and we refuse to play them. We will not allow fear to make decisions for us. We will not allow pressure to dictate our policy. Burkina Faso is charting its own course now, and no one, no president, no government, no military will take that away from us. The language of intimidation no longer works here. We do not respond to the sound of boots marching or the roar of fighter jets. We respond to justice. We respond to truth. We respond to the will of the people. That is what leads us. That is what gives us the strength to reject these threats with calm, with clarity, and with absolute certainty. The days when African leaders trembled before foreign power are over. I am not here to ask for approval. I am not here to seek permission. I am here to represent the voice of a free nation, and that voice says clearly, we are not afraid. Let the world understand this. There will be no retreat. There will be no backing down. If we are forced to defend ourselves, we will do so. But we do not seek conflict. We do not call for violence. We call for respect, respect for our borders, respect for our people, respect for the sacrifices we have made to be where we are today. That is not a request, it is a demand, and it is a demand rooted in our right to exist as a nation free from coercion. So, to those who continue to speak the language of domination, I say this: save your threats. They will not move us. Your weapons will not silence us. Your declarations will not change our direction. We are walking a path chosen by our people, and we will not abandon it, not for war, not for money, not for fear. The spirit of Burkina Faso is unbreakable. We are forged in resistance, shaped by struggle, and driven by hope. Our people have shown the world time and time again that no amount of intimidation can defeat a nation that believes in itself, and we believe. We believe in our future, in our unity, and in our right to live free from foreign dictates. No threats can take that away from us. We will continue to rise, we will continue to fight, and we will never bow. The colonial era is over. The time when foreign powers could decide the fate of African nations has come to an end. We are not a colony, and we are not subjects. Our land, our people, and our future are not up for negotiation. This is not just a slogan, it is a truth we are living and defending every day. For too long, our continent was carved up, bought and sold, ruled from afar by people who never cared to understand us, who saw Africa not as a home of nations and civilizations, but as a resource depot to be exploited. That injustice, that violence, that theft was called civilization, and those who resisted it were called rebels. But today we speak clearly, we were never the ones in the wrong. Those who colonized as those who plundered, those who erased our cultures and dictated our laws from their palaces, they were the criminals of history. And though formal colonial rule may have ended decades ago, the systems of control remained. Puppet governments, foreign militaries, economic chains, cultural conditioning, these were the tools of a more subtle form of domination. But now even that era is ending. The illusion is being shattered. A new consciousness is rising across Africa. The African youth are no longer interested in being passive recipients of foreign aid, dictated by foreign terms. We are not here to accept crumbs while our resources are looted. We are not here to play along with the lies that our underdevelopment is our own fault, while the hands that keep us down wear gloves of diplomacy. In Burkina Faso, we have made our position clear. We are not agents of foreign interests. We are not stewards of outside agendas. We are servants of our people, and we are accountable only to them. No agreement made in the shadows, no treaty forced upon us, no military base hidden behind cooperation will be allowed to define who we are or how we live. Our path is ours to choose. Our decisions will not be filtered through the expectations of former colonizers. If they do not like it, that is their problem, not ours. When a foreign power believes it still has the right to speak to us as masters once spoke to subjects, we remind them, this is not the 19th century. You cannot rule from thousands of miles away and expect obedience. You cannot threaten us into alignment. We have seen your version of democracy. We have lived under your version of order. We know the costs of your so-called development plans, and we reject the hypocrisy. We reject the arrogance. We reject the belief that Africa is still on a leash. This is not just about Burkina Faso, it is about the future of every African nation that has dared to stand on its feet. Our rejection of colonial domination must be more than symbolic. It must be practical. It must be economic, political, cultural, and military. We must stop depending on those who have proven again and again that they do not see us as equals. We must stop asking permission to govern our own people. We must stop apologizing for wanting to be free. If we do not control our land, our water, our gold, our people's education, our defense, then we are still living under a new flag of colonization. I know these words make some uncomfortable. They would prefer we smile and play along. They would prefer we remain polite while we are suffocated. But I will not be polite in the face of injustice. I will not speak gently when my people are dying, when my country is under threat, when my continent is being stripped of its future. What we are building in Burkina Faso is not a protest. It is a revolution of the mind, a revolution of dignity, a revolution of action. We are not only saying no to foreign domination, we are saying yes to African ownership, African unity, African pride. They called our ancestors savages. They enslaved them. They cut borders across our land like lines on a map with no regard for the people living there. They destroyed our languages, our systems of governance, our spiritual foundations, and told us theirs were superior. And now, after centuries of destruction, they want us to believe they are our saviors, that without them we are nothing. That without their banks, their corporations, their military protection, their advice, we cannot stand. That is the final lie of colonialism, and it is the one we must kill once and for all. We are not anti-foreigner, we are not anti-cooperation, but we will no longer accept relations based on hierarchy, on domination, on the idea that some lives are worth more than others. If you want to work with us, you come as equals, you come with respect, you come with no hidden agenda because we are not going backwards. Not now, not ever. The colonial era is over, and it will not return, not in uniforms, not in suits, not in development projects wrapped in chains of debt. It ends with us. It ends here. The Burkinabe people are awake. Africa is awake. And we are rising not to beg, not to follow, but to lead ourselves toward a future that belongs to us. Those who cannot accept that truth are free to be uncomfortable, but they are no longer in control. Peace is our choice, but not at any cost. We choose peace, but not at the expense of our freedom. If war is forced upon us, we will defend ourselves. We will not stand idle while threats are made against our people and our sovereignty. We are not lovers of violence. We are not seekers of chaos. Our people want to live in dignity, to raise their children in safety, to work their lands, to study, to build, to dream. Peace is the air we wish to breathe, the foundation we seek for our development, the atmosphere in which our people can flourish. But peace without freedom is not peace. It is submission. It is silence under oppression. It is a prison without walls. And we did not fight, we did not bleed, we did not bury our martyrs so we could live in chains under the disguise of peace. There are those who would offer us calm in exchange for compliance. They say, accept the order we give you and you will have peace. But what kind of peace is that? Peace while our gold is taken. Peace while foreign troops patrol our soil. Peace while our youth drown in the Mediterranean looking for a future stolen from them. Peace while the same powers that destabilized our region claim to be its protectors. That is not peace, it is quiet exploitation. It is the calm of a people who have been silenced, not the harmony of a people who are free. Burkina Faso does not seek war, but we will not allow ourselves to be cornered. If you surround a people, if you strangle their economy, if you deny them their right to self-determination, if you insult their intelligence and then dare them to resist, you must be prepared for the consequences. Because our silence is not guaranteed. Our patience is not infinite. Our dignity is not negotiable. We speak today with open hearts and firm voices. We invite genuine dialogue. We call for real cooperation. But we will not be lured into false partnerships that serve only to keep us dependent. We will not be bribed into silence, and we will not allow ourselves to be attacked without defending what is ours. That is not warmongering. It is survival. It is the minimum response of any sovereign nation that respects itself. I say this to those who raise the language of conflict. It is easy to threaten a people you do not know. It is easy to speak of military action from behind a desk, thousands of kilometers away. But we live here. We know this land. We love it. We protect it with our lives. And we are ready. We are not afraid of the price of resistance, because we have already paid it. We have buried heroes. We have sacrificed comfort. We have walked through storms to reach this moment. So if you think that threats of war will make us run, you are mistaken. We do not run. We rise. Peace must be built on truth. It must be built on equality. It must be built on justice. It must reflect the will of the people, not the agenda of the powerful. True peace is not enforced by weapons. It is created by respect, and respect cannot exist where there is domination. It cannot exist where there is arrogance. It cannot exist where one side believes it has the right to dictate the terms of another's existence. We have seen what forced peace looks like. We have seen what happens when nations surrender in the name of stability. We have seen puppet regimes that smile for cameras while their people starve. We have seen deals signed under duress, foreign bases established without consent, and entire generations robbed of their future, all in the name of maintaining order. That is not peace. That is occupation, wearing a diplomatic mask. Burkina Faso has chosen a different path. We are not alone in this choice. Across Africa, nations are rejecting the old terms. They are rising with the same message. We want peace, but it must be a peace that respects our right to exist as free peoples. A peace that empowers, not enslaves. A peace that lifts the veil off centuries of exploitation and allows us to begin anew on our terms, not under coercion. To those who are honest, who wish to engage with us as equals, we say welcome. Let us build a world together where peace is not just the absence of war, but the presence of justice. Let us exchange ideas, not threats. Let us build bridges, not military bases. Let us share resources, not exploit them. We believe in that kind of peace. We are ready for it. We are committed to it. But let it be known, if we must choose between peace that enslaves and struggle that liberates, we will always choose the struggle. Because peace without freedom is a lie. It is a weapon used to pacify the oppressed. And we were not born to be pacified, we were born to be free. So we stand firm in our position, open to the hand of solidarity but never the fist of intimidation. If you come to us with respect, you will find friends. If you come to us with force, you will find resistance. We are defenders of peace, but never at the cost of our freedom, our dignity, or our future. Unity across Africa against external threats is not a dream, it is a necessity born from centuries of shared struggle. Burkina Faso is not alone. Across the continent, nations are waking up to the reality of neo-colonial aggression. We stand united with our African brothers and sisters in resistance to any foreign provocation or domination. Our enemies wish to divide us, to isolate us, to pit African nations against one another with false promises and poisonous aid. They want us to compete instead of cooperate, to remain fragmented so that we can be controlled. But that era is ending. More and more, African nations are choosing to stand together, to speak with one voice, to reject the artificial borders that were drawn not by our ancestors, but by foreign invaders with pens soaked in blood. We are tearing down the mental walls that kept us apart and replacing them with bridges of solidarity. This unity is not just symbolic, it is strategic. It is how we survive, it is how we win, because alone each of our countries can be targeted, sanctioned, intimidated, or destabilized. But together we are a force that cannot be ignored. Together we are a continent of over 1 billion people, rich in resources, rich in youth, rich in culture and spirit. They fear that if we ever truly unite, their control will end. That fear is justified. When I speak to the youth of Mali, of Niger, of Guinea, of the Congo, of Senegal, I hear the same cry for liberation. I hear the same rejection of dependency. I hear the same pride in our history, the same pain over our stolen wealth, and the same demand that we, Africans, must be the ones to shape Africa's future. That demand cannot be silenced by threats, and it cannot be killed by war. Because it is not just political, it is spiritual. It is a fire that burns in our blood, passed down from the revolutionaries, from the kings and queens who ruled before the colonizers arrived, from the freedom fighters who gave everything so we could have this chance. There is no more time to pretend. Neo-colonialism is not subtle, it is brutal. It comes through military bases stationed without consent. It comes through corporations that extract wealth while leaving destruction. It comes through the manipulation of currencies, the domination of trade, the imposition of foreign laws under the disguise of international standards. And now, when we resist, we are called radicals. We are labeled dangerous. We are threatened with isolation. But what is more dangerous, refusing to be ruled, or continuing to accept chains as the cost of so-called peace? Our unity must move beyond words. It must live in our economies, in our education systems, in our defense strategies. We must stop training our youth to serve foreign interests. We must begin producing not just raw materials, but finished products. We must speak to each other in African languages, trade with each other in African currencies, defend each other with African soldiers. Our liberation will not come from foreign diplomats. It will come from the soil, from the people, from the knowledge that we are stronger together than we ever were apart. When Burkina Faso was threatened, we saw who our true friends were. It was not those who sat silently in distant capitals. It was not those who offered weapons to our enemies while sending us words of peace. It was our neighbors, our fellow African nations, who stood with us. This is how a new Africa is being born. Not through conferences in Europe, but through bonds forged in struggle. We do not need permission to unite. We do not need anyone's approval to cooperate. We need only to believe in each other more than we believe in the systems that were built to divide us. There will be attempts to break this unity. We know that. There will be bribes, threats, assassinations, false media campaigns, and internal destabilization efforts. But we are learning from the past. We are watching, we are vigilant, and more importantly, the people are aware. No longer can elites sell out entire nations without consequences. No longer can coups be orchestrated in the shadows without being exposed. The people are awake, and they are the true guardians of this unity. This is a call to action, not just for leaders but for every African, to the farmers, the teachers, the youth in the streets, the mothers raising the next generation. Our strength lies in each other. If we are united, there is no external threat we cannot face. If we are united, there is no foreign power that can dictate how we live, how we govern, how we dream. Let them threaten us. Let them isolate us. Let them call us extremists. The truth is we are revolutionaries. We are patriots. We are defenders of the land our ancestors walked on, bled for, and died to protect. And we are done fighting alone. From the deserts of the Sahel to the coasts of West Africa, from the forests of Central Africa to the mountains of the East, a new alliance is forming, not built by foreign architects, but by the hands of Africans. We are not waiting for liberation, we are building it, step by step, side by side, and no threat, no empire, no power on earth can stop a continent that has chosen to rise together. We are united, we are awake, and we are unafraid. We will shape our own destiny. Our revolution is rooted in justice and self-determination. We are building a future where the people, not foreign interests, decide their fate. No empire, no billionaire, and no politician will dictate how we live or govern. For too long, the destiny of African nations has been written outside our borders. It was drawn up in colonial offices, signed behind closed doors, and enforced through violence, debt, and lies. They told us we were independent, but then handed us a system designed to keep us dependent. They replaced the whip with economic manipulation and the flag of empire with institutions that still answer to foreign capitals. They called it progress. But progress for who? While our children go hungry, while our doctors leave the continent for survival, while our land is turned inside out for profit, who has really benefited? That is why we say enough, enough of false choices, enough of being told what democracy should look like by those who never respected our right to choose, enough of being lectured on human rights by those who invaded sovereign nations and destroyed entire civilizations in the name of profit and control. We do not need lessons from the very people who have been the greatest obstacles to our freedom. We do not need advisors who see us as resources, not as human beings. We do not need saviors. What we need is to reclaim what is ours, and we are doing it now. The youth of Africa are not naive. They are not misled. They are awake, and they are rising. They see through the media narratives, the aid packages wrapped in control, the partnerships that only benefit one side. They are asking the right questions. Why must we export our gold and buy it back at 10 times the price? Why must we rely on imported food while our land remains fertile? Why must we borrow money from those who became rich by looting our ancestors? These are not radical questions. These are questions of dignity, questions of ownership, questions of destiny. In Burkina Faso, we are not just resisting, we are creating. We are educating a generation to think for itself, to lead, to invent, to govern not in the shadow of colonial legacy but in the light of African consciousness. We are taking control of our resources, our defense, our agriculture, and our industries. We are removing the hands that have held us back. This revolution is not symbolic. It is practical. It is not just about speeches. It is about building schools, empowering women, protecting our land, and defending our communities. And we know this is not easy. We know the price of freedom. We are paying it every day. We are being targeted, isolated, threatened. They try to starve us, to break us, to turn the world against us. But it will not work, because we are not driven by revenge. We are driven by purpose. We do not seek to dominate anyone. We only demand to control our own fate. That demand will not be silenced by sanctions, nor will it be buried under intimidation, because what we are building is deeper than any policy. It is the rebirth of our identity, and no power on earth can destroy a people who have found themselves. To shape our destiny means making our own mistakes, learning from them, and continuing forward. It means trusting our people to know what is best for them, not relying on foreign think tanks or international observers. It means building systems that reflect our realities, not copying models that were never meant for us. It means breaking the cycle where every solution must be approved elsewhere. We have the right to fail and to succeed on our own terms. This is why they fear what we are doing, because if Burkina Faso can rise, then so can Mali, so can Niger, so can every country that has been told for decades that resistance is hopeless. If we shape our destiny and build a model that works, one that empowers the people instead of foreign corporations, then the empire loses its grip. The illusion of control falls apart. The lie that Africa cannot govern itself is exposed. But let me say this clearly, we are not here to prove anything to the West. We are not seeking validation. We are not performing for the approval of those who once enslaved our people and now pretend to be their guardians. We are here to prove something to ourselves, that we are capable, that we are enough, that we can rise from the ashes of betrayal and build something greater than what we were given. Let the world hear it from us, not from their analysts or journalists. We are shaping our own destiny. We are choosing freedom over fear. We are choosing sovereignty over submission. We are choosing our people over profit. And we are choosing Africa over any system that treats it as a servant instead of a sovereign force. We will not be perfect, but we will be ours. This is the future we are building, one decision at a time, one village at a time, one generation at a time. No foreign empire will chart this path. No billionaire will buy it. No politician outside our land will write this story. This is the story of a free Burkina Faso. And we are only just beginning.